There's something in the air tonight, and it smells like disappointment. And it's not actually the new SMITE patch. That is another story that I already talked about. It is one particular buff in this patch. Don't get me wrong, I think the patch overall was great. There were a lot of great changes in regards to the guard adjustments that were made. This one is the one where I think the idea was nice, but the execution fell short. And that is the Arachne buff. Arachne got a buff in the newest patch to her ultimate. The description for that, the reasoning for that was as follows. Arachne excels at finding isolated prey and shredding them down quickly. While this allows her to perform very well at normal levels of play, high-ranked and competitive players are much harder to find alone and away from ally assistance. We want to give her something that will help her ability to teamfight, as well as her ability to dive the enemy backline. Nightcrawler will now create a large web on the area where Arachne lands, slowing enemies on the field and granting her the same benefits as the web trail from her web ability. Enemies will be forced to disperse or fight in Arachne's domain. Description of the ultimate itself. Arachne now creates a 25 unit radius area of web that lasts for 5 seconds when she lands. Enemies in this area are slowed by 25% and Arachne gains 40% movement speed and is immune to slows while on the web. Overlaying webs from Nightcrawler and her third ability web does not stack in intensity. So I kind of misunderstood a part of the buff here, specifically the part where she gets the same benefits as the web trail from her web ability. So what I thought that means she gets all the same benefits, including the trail expanding when you hit a target with it, in which case I think this would have been a great ability. It would have been an AoE slow to various targets when you drop down, and that would have given her a decent amount of teamfight capability and would have been very useful. That is not the case. It is literally just a 25 radius field. And that in itself kind of already explains why this isn't nearly as good as you'd think. For example, we have a similar ability with Chark's 3 already. Difference is, it's not in his ultimate, he doesn't waste his escape, and he can also use it from range and by throwing his wand first, so yeah. Obviously it's not quite the same ability, it has attack speed reduction, it doesn't have movement speed increase, but you get the idea, this is kind of there already in a different way, and even then it's not that impactful. You can imagine how much less impactful it is on her ultimate. The radius is so small that by the time you've actually landed the ability on an enemy and dealt the damage, they are maybe like 10 units away from getting out of the circle, and the moment they get out of the circle, all the benefits for you or all the downsides for them are gone. So it's literally just a few steps that they take before they're getting away. That in itself will be fine, you know, it's still a little bit of a benefit for a few seconds, and if you focused on a target, it would still be beneficial. But the point is, if you're focusing on a target that you drop down on, then you would use your web on them in any situation anyways, and you would probably not hard engage with your ultimate with your 3 down. So as the 3 and the ultimate slow don't stack, you don't really do much with this. You just have a temporary slow until you used your 3. And the 3, when you drop down on an enemy, is really not hard to confirm at all, unless they're maybe in a wave of minions or something. Due to that, the situations where it's actually applicable are so limited that it's not really worth mentioning at all. The 25% slow isn't crazy, slow immunity is nice, but again, it's all things you get from your 3, which you usually have up at the time. If the ultimate was how I originally thought it was, and you would have a trail on the enemy as well, like with your 3, then it would mean that you would have the 3 for a later point and would have the double potential to slow, and therefore also go against enemies that counter the first slow somehow. Furthermore, the duration is super short. It may be 5 seconds, but with the time it takes to animate after you drop down, and when exactly it disappears, it's actually, or it feels actually much closer to 4 seconds. At best. As such, in my opinion, it hardly makes a difference. It doesn't make it worth building Runeforged Hammer on her, it doesn't really impact her in other ways, and it doesn't nearly have the impact on her overall as I would hope it would have had. I think the ult is a good start and a direction to go in, and this can be further amplified and then it can be actually useful. But as of now, it's not worth investing into a bruiser build just to use your ult aggressively to actually get any benefit out of this at all, because again, The slow is not strong enough in the field that it's applied to with a small radius and with the duration it even takes to appear. It's just not worth it. With that, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope this was interesting and insightful, just a short one today. If you're new to the channel, feel free to smash that subscribe button, and other than that, see you for the next one tomorrow. DukeSloth, out.